How you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing good. How are you, Brian?
Good, good, good. Just here at the house.
Yeah, nice. Just got from Vegas. I did a big giant boo boo.
Oh,
Anxious to get out the plane, on our carry on, and I got out the plane quick. And I noticed my carry on was not rolling the way it normally does. I go, man, I must have screwed it up when I threw it in the damn overhead. So as I'm going, not thinking nothing of it, just kind of mad that I screwed it up. I figured out when I get home, I'll look at it and see maybe I can fix the wheels.
yeah.
So I get to my gym and I look, I go, wait a minute, this is not my brief. This is not.
Oh,
And I took somebody else's carry on, and I'm like freaking out because I had a really really expensive watch in my
oh,
bag
God.
along with a lot of other clothes that were pretty dear to me.
Yeah.
So I was kind of freaking out a little bit just because of the stupidity of someone being very upset at me for taking their luggage because nobody wants that.
Yeah.
And then me realizing I might have cost myself a 60K boo boo.
Did you eventually get your stuff back?
Yeah, I got my stuff back. Yeah, I went to the lost and found, and they had it. It was
Nice.
the same Samsonite type thing. So for those of you guys that listen out there, mark your carry-ons with something like an idiot. I didn't do it, and I think it'd be best that you mark it like some kind of ribbon or something that knows that's yours.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that going forward because I don't want to make that mistake ever again.
No, you know what? That happened to me once. Somebody actually took my camera bag, and in my camera bag, there's about maybe 20 to $30,000 worth of equipment at one time. And I was like, "Oh my God, my bag, my bag!" And I had to go, do some work. And I was freaking out. Luckily, when I got to the end of the gate or outside of the terminal, there was somebody right there with the bag. They're like, "Oh, I accidentally grabbed the wrong one."
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that just kind of sucks.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Sucks.
as long as you got it back.
Yeah, I got it back. I got it back. So that was the good part. That
Yeah.
was a good.
So a weird, well, kind of a sad week for MMA. We just found out a day ago that Anthony Johnson passed away.
Yeah,
That's tough, tough for the community. Uh,
yeah. I didn't know to the extent. I know he's been having problems for about a year, but I didn't know what the problem was. I still kind of don't, but I'm kind of leaning toward it was some kind of cancer.
yeah,
You know, don't have any confirmation, but I'm kind of leaning towards that. I think he's been suffering because they told me that hasn't been well for a while.
right.
And uh, anybody that's encountered him as a person would tell you how beautiful person he was. What a beautiful heart. He had how he was so kind and polite to everybody. He was man. He was just he was a different kind of guy. A different kind of guy that you always remember. And may God give him rest. Because he's one of the good ones.
Yeah, it was weird to hear because I remember when we were in LA, what, January, when Usman last fought, and we ran into him there, and I noticed that he was very skinny, but I didn't think anything of it. I thought he was maybe trying to drop weight because he had just signed with Bellator previous months.
Yeah,
Um, and then Ali last week or 2 weeks ago put out something like, "Hey, prayers for Anthony Johnson." That he was sick, and I didn't think anything of it, thinking that it was that bad or that severe. And then just man, it hit us, hard.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Tough.
everybody. The vast majority of the posts yesterday on my feed was about 75% of the
Yes,
posts and memories of him.
yes,
Um, and rightfully so. He was, like I said, he went too young.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Um, Another, I mean, not to change the tide so quick, but another good news. Cain Velasquez came home.
Yeah, he came home last week. This one judge was really on it. He was listening to everything that was being told. He wasn't swayed by anything, and he basically told Kane, "You're not a risk.
Right.
I expect you're a family man, and I expect you abide by the bail restrictions, and of course, he's gonna do that. He's
100%.
gonna go correctly, and the war's just begun. He still has a lot of charges against him that he's gonna have to explain, and they're gonna have to see what they can do about sticking him with this or not sticking him with that. And who knows? I mean, I don't know the whole details about pretty much any of it other than what hearsay. I never heard anything from Cain because I've never been able to speak to him on what
Gotcha.
happened, because the only time I got to see him was in jail, and in jail, you can't discuss the case.
Right.
So I have, as of yet, discussed with him anything of what happened. The only thing I'm happy about is that at least he's home with his family, and
That's what matters.
let the court system work the way hopefully it works, and it works in the right direction, because I think everybody that has children is very sympathetic to what happened. Obviously, how he went about it is not correct. I mean, we all know that. No one's blind, but what happened?
Right.
For that to happen. What makes man snap? And I don't know. I think for me that's probably one that would make me snap. What I would do, I don't know. I would like to think that I would do the same, but I don't know. It didn't happen to me, and
Yeah.
we can say whatever we want, like Dana White said, he's done what a lot of us think we would do or say we would do.
Say what
But
we
he
do.
did it. Yeah, he actually did it.
Well, the good thing is he's home with his family. He's enjoying his kids, and that's where he needs to be. He needs to be at home with his family, and a good thing that the court system prevailed on this one. I know that
Yeah,
he has a huge battle ahead of him, but at least he's home, and it puts him just a little bit more at ease.
I think it's favorable for him based on what I'm reading. What I'm talking about. I'm reading things, and it looks very favorable to him. So let's see what happens. Let the court system come out, and let's see.
Okay, perfect. So Saturday, some crazy fights coming out of New York, Madison Square Garden. UFC 281. You had the headliners Izzy versus Alex Pereira. You had Carla Esparza versus Wei Li. Dustin Poirier versus Chandler. What a card!
Yeah. The first one that got me was the Frankie Edgar fight.
Right.
I was talking to my friends, and I said, "Damn, look at him. Even at 135, he's tinier than the other guy,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, every time that guy fought, he was the tinier guy, and I'm like going, wow, unbelievable.
And
When he first came to me, he came to me back when he fairly first entered the UFC,
he fought
and
at 155 at the beginning,
I was
right?
but he weighed about 160,
Crazy.
157. I sometimes he'd leave the gym under 155, and he fought
Gee.
at 155. And for him to go and do what he did against BJ Penn, and all the others, I mean, he's definitely one of the greatest lightweights of all time, and also one of the greatest lightweights undersized of all time.
Yes,
You know,
definitely.
think there's anybody been as light as him, and he's had some great memorable fights. And unfortunately, he hung out a little bit longer than he should have. And it's, to be honest with you, I didn't want to see him go out like that. I don't think he should come back. I don't know. It's whatever he's going to do. I think this was his retirement fight,
He
if I'm
said it
not
was a
mistaken.
retirement fight. That was it. No more.
Yeah,
No matter what the outcome was, that was it.
yeah, he should stay out. But I mean, it's hard, that adrenaline gets you. That just that you just the energy you get from fighting and winning. You can't explain it unless you're a fighter, and I understand it. And it's a tough one to give away. And well, anyways, hopefully he's in good health and good spirits, and he moves on with his family life and whatever he chooses to do, because he's definitely one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, definitely. And it was kind of sad to see Chris Gutierrez, his opponent, they're kind of, breaking down because he had to do that to a legend, He had to, take out a legend in that fashion. I mean, that's not a way that, you want to see a legend go out.
No, no, but you hang around a little too long, like Habib always says. Past 35,
Not the same game.
game, man.
It's a
You
young
start.
man game.
Yeah, there's some guys that are in their older, they're winning and they're doing fantastic, but they're not the prime 30-year-olds. You know, they're not. You know, they may be winning in 37, 38, 40, 42, like Romero. You know, he's still winning, and he's actually looking better. You
Yes.
know, he's not really better, but he's looking better only because he's putting the puzzles together. You know, he's putting the puzzle together. But you know, if he had put the puzzle together like he is now at 30 years of age, Romero would be unstoppable.
Jeez, that guy's just a specimen too. Just
Mm-hmm. Yeah, specimen. Yeah, 100% correct. So then, well, we got the Carla Esparza fight, right, with Wei
yes,
Li.
Wei
Uh,
Li.
you know, I kind of thought that the fight was going to play out like that because
Me
I
too.
thought that Wei Li was just too good everywhere, and once Wei Li figured out that Carla's not that difficult to deal with on the ground, and Carla's only one basically, you know, as much as she's trying, she's still not proficient in the stand-up, you know, and submission game she isn't either. But she is a hell of a wrestler. So if you can deal with her wrestling, she doesn't have very much left and what, you know, to attack with. And so Wei Li basically has too much of an arsenal for her, I thought, and it just proved my point. She's just too much, too much. So who knows? What do you think? They have maybe Thug Rose and Wei Li again?
That's the only viable fight I see.
Yeah,
The one
that's
that
what I.
makes sense since Joanna retired. Well, you can't even put Joanna in the mix because
No,
she
because
lost the
she was.
last two fights. So no, I
Yeah,
mean the
yeah.
only person that
He went downhill. Joanna just went out on her sword, you know, and
grows. That's it.
you know.
Yeah. Um, I did notice a difference in Wei Li after going over to Henry Cejudo, training with Cejudo. That wrestling defense was actually great. And I guess this camp she was actually out in Thailand at one of the Muay Thai gyms.
Yeah, yeah. She was out there doing her thing, and listen, you don't have to go to the same camp all the time. If you get the knowledge, you use the knowledge with your core people. You can. Everybody goes shopping around here, but when they go back, they go with their core people, and they stay with their core people. That's usually when you make your biggest improvement. Is you learn from somebody, go back to your core. You know, because they're the ones that are used to you. They're familiar with everything, but pick up stuff from other people. I mean, why is it that in jujitsu, you know, you go do seminars with all these great legends, and then you come back with your team and you practice it and you become better? It's the same thing, you know. The camps can go somewhere else and learn something from somebody, and then come back and use it in their camp, you know. But the one thing I don't agree too much on is switching your core people.
Yes.
That's to me. It's if it's working, you know, and just because you lose doesn't mean it's not working. You lost. You lost to a better opponent sometimes, or you know, you lost whatever the circumstances. You lost, but don't always think it's because of your corner or et cetera, et cetera. There's many reasons why you could lose. It could be bad ref. It could be, you know, so many things. You yourself could have screwed yourself. You know, commission could have screwed you. UFC could have screwed you. Bellator could have screwed you. I mean, there's so many ways to lose it.
Yeah.
You know, you just basically, I always tell my guys, you know, if something happens, look in the mirror. You know, because the person that's responsible ultimately is you.
Yeah.
Because if you're training with the wrong camp and you're thinking, well, I don't, you know, this and that, you know, well, you shouldn't have been there in the first place. Then you should have
Yeah.
moved on and found somewhere that you're comfortable with. That's my feeling on that.
No, that's true. And then we actually don't know too. I don't know if there was any restriction with some of our team traveling too.
Yes,
Yeah, so that
yes,
could have been,
so many
a factor
variables,
as well.
so
So
many
many
variables,
variables.
so many. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it was a great fight. I mean, the way she got Esparza into that crazy crucifix and then just finished the choke from there, it was weird, but I mean, it was
Yeah,
awesome to see.
yeah. It was nice. And then you know, you got Michael Chandler and Dustin Poirier. That was
Wow,
what a fight, huh?
what a fight!
Poirier. And you know, I that kind of played out the way I thought. And I thought this. I thought that Dustin is tougher, more resilient.
Yes,
He doesn't crack as easy. You know, he'll get hit, he'll get this, but he comes back and he rebounds. And where Chandler, extremely explosive, and he's you know, sometimes, you know, do or die type guy. You know, if he doesn't do it, he dies. And in this particular case, he almost did it, but this because Dustin is so goddamn tough. the young in there, and you know, Dustin got the W, and then also too that having all that blood on him, I think it was made the choke sink a little easier. I think
That was insane when his nose broke or busted,
yeah,
whatever the case may be, because you
yeah,
saw like when Dustin was on his back, you saw like this
fountain,
yeah,
just
it
fountain.
just came right out.
Yeah,
And it was
yeah,
just nasty.
yeah,
It was a
really
great
bad.
fight. It was a great fight. I thought
Oh,
Dustin was in danger when he was up against the cage,
yeah,
and you know, he was pinned and Chandler had his hand, you know, and I thought, you know, it was going to get called, but you know, the ref actually let him play out and let him fight.
yeah. I had Dustin when people asked me what I think was going to win. I thought Dustin would win, and I thought the reason is for that reason he could take more,
Yeah,
and he did take it. Chandler did give it to him, and you know what a I like, you know, I posted on my Instagram on my stories. I just put Warriors because
that's it.
that's the way to define what they did. Warriors, man. They put on a performance, and Chandler's a performer, man. He's a grade A top performer. You know, I don't think, to be honest with you, obviously he's not getting the title shot anytime soon, but it didn't diminish his market value.
No, no matter who you put in there with him, he's going to fight, and that's what people want to see. No matter who
It
you throw in there.
didn't diminish him. Now you continue to take wars like that with time, and who knows if he's going to be the same fighter after this fight. Like for instance, look at DC. When DC won the title from Miocic, then he had to have surgery. He
Yeah,
was never the same fighter ever again. Never the same. You
no,
know,
no way.
it was half of himself. And you know, in all fairness, you know, it was more money motivated by being offered a ton of money, you know, to go and compete and thinking he could still do it. But realistically, I think DC was fooling himself, you know, that you know he could still do it when he knew he really couldn't. But when you got that, you're a fighter, you know, and like what DC is through and through, a true fighter,
Yeah.
that you can't tell him no. You know, he's gonna say, "No, I'm gonna prove you wrong. You can't tell me I
No.
can't beat this guy. I
The
can
mind
beat
is
this
strong. The mind is strong, but once the body,
super."
oh, that's it. I can't do it.
Well, let's put it this way. Let me give you an example about DC. Okay, when we had that second that fight with John Jones, that where John Jones got popped
Yeah.
for illegal substance.
The second time?
Yeah, the second time, not the first fight, the second fight that was supposed to be in Vegas,
Yeah.
and they had a late replacement in Anderson Silva.
Mhm.
Okay, so Anderson Silva comes in, and DC's telling me I'm going to stand with him. I'm going to stand with him. I go, DC, don't. You do that is a bad mistake. You cannot stand with him. He's
Dangerous.
too dangerous as a striker. I go, you'll think you're doing okay, then all of a sudden he'll pop you and you're done. I go, do
Yeah.
not stand with him. Oh no, Hob, no, you'll see. I'm gonna stand with him. I go, no, do not stand with him. I do not want you to stand with him. You need to take him down like you did Dan Henderson.
Yep.
You know, Dan Henderson had the H bomb, and I told DC wrestle the F out of him. So you need to do the same thing with Anderson. Anderson took that fight at what, 1-2 day notice, right?
Yeah,
Something like
two,
that.
3 days. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
2 day notice. I mean, so that was a first of all, I felt we had the huge edge there because Anderson wasn't going to fight the takedowns because he wasn't good enough to do it. So I told DC, just wrestle him. Don't
Yeah.
stand with him. Just go wrestle him. So okay, let's go back to the fight. People can go watch the fight and see the fight, what happens, and DC standing thinking he's
Standing
okay.
with a
All of a sudden, Anderson hit him with a shin kick right to the belly. That was it. DC shot him for the takedown after that, and that was all she wrote. He didn't after that one. DC didn't want to give him a chance anymore because he knew, like, don't give this guy. He's one of the best strikers ever, you
yep.
know. And you can't go with a sharpshooter like that. And DC learned that too. So that was a valuable lesson. That it was a win, wasn't a loss lesson. But if he mentally said, "No, I'm going to keep standing with him," that would have been
Yeah.
bad.
Oh, and I think if you go back and watch the fight, he stood with them what round 1, 2, and then after that he was like, nope, that was it.
No, that he didn't. You know, it was when that body kick came in. That was it. No,
That
no,
was
no.
it. Game over.
Yeah, game over. Yeah, no, it's the right move. You know, to get the W. It's about getting the W. Being entertainment is definitely a big plus, but you got to get the W. You know, especially at that stage because number one, the guy that gets the W gets the A side, basically, as Mayweather always calls it, the A side.
The A side of the deal.
You want to be on the A side. Why do you want to be on the B side? You go up against somebody. You want to be the dictator, not the dictator. The E. You know, you don't want the dictator. That sounds stupid.
Yeah.
But anyway, so now we're going into the main event, right? And
Main event.
yeah, I was anxious for that one because I wanted to see. Remember, I said
It comes down two ways.
about the striking. I said I
Yes.
go, we could see maybe 5%, and at the best case maybe 20, but I don't see more than that because these guys are primarily strikers. And at the beginning it looked like I was correct on the 5%, but then all of a sudden, it turned into more of a 20% grappling, and they both proved to be decent. Alex was a little bit more so, but not on the bottom. He wasn't as proficient on the bottom, but what a fight. I was telling guys, I was watching the fight. I said, this fight's so damn close. I had a 3-1 Izzy. I had a 3-1 Izzy. And someone said, no, I think it's tied. I said, well, to be honest with you, the fight's so damn close. I wouldn't doubt it if a judge did have it that. But if I was in Alex's corner, I would have been telling them, you're down 3-1.
You're down.
You need to finish him. You need to go out there and finish him, because if you don't finish him, we're not going to win. That's what I would have done. And I guess, yeah, his corner did that, right? Didn't his corner?
Yeah, you need to knock him out. You need to knock him out in the 5th. You're down.
Yeah. Well, that's what a corner is there for, to guide you and not necessarily, hold your hand per se, but just tell you, hey, man up. You got to go and give it your all. Otherwise, you're not going to take that W home. And this guy manned up, and he hit him with that beautiful left hook. Now he's caught him twice and took him out with that damn left hook that started it off. This is a beautiful left hook. It's a Canelo type left hook. It's a Ryan Garcia type left hook that he throws, and those are the most devastating type of left hooks you can throw. And it's because they're throwing their whole body behind it. They're not bringing their arm out like this. It's more here. It's an incredible punch, and Alex throws that a lot. And being as big as he is, like I heard that he tried on 2 attempts to make weight. So obviously he struggled to make the weight, because I heard come fight time, what was he at? 205, 210 or something like that?
Fight night he was 210 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's pretty big. You could tell he was bigger than Izzy. Izzy was.
Oh yeah, he was bigger in all aspects. He just looked taller, more muscular, and if you just look at their legs, man, I mean, Pereira's legs is just massive compared to Izzy's.
That was a good fight, man. I was really enjoyed it.
It was. It was. I was surprised in the first round with the closing seconds that Izzy almost knocked him out.
Yeah, but what do you think about that? It kind of looked like it was the bell rang and he hit him. Maybe the second punch, not the first.
The second punch, yeah, the second punch was closed, but I guess it was still in motion, so it was kind of hard to pull back. But he did hit him right at the bell.
Yeah, and then so he kind of got it back a little bit too, if you recall, because Alex did it to him.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like they both kind of did it to each other.
Yeah.
But man, what a fight! I mean, can you imagine? Brazil's probably going crazy right now.
Yeah, insane. I was going to ask you, were you surprised by any of the clinch work?
No.
That's what you expected from it?
Yeah, from those guys. I mean, they're experts. That. What I was surprised was that Alex had a better ground takedown than I thought, because Izzy's not exactly easy to take down. He's not super hard, but it's not exactly easy, because if he was easy, then Kevin Gastelum would have took him down, and Robert Whitaker would have had an easier time with him. So he's not easy to take down. So he impressed me, or was it that Izzy just wasn't ready for that? Because a lot of times, if you're not mentally ready for a guy doing a wrestling move on you like that, you get caught off guard. But the second time around, you'll be ready, and it's harder to take you down the second time. So either way,
expecting it at all. I don't think he was expecting it at all. But I mean, Pereira was working with Glover Teixeira, so maybe that had a little bit to do with it.
Well, supposedly Glover is one of the main key figures in pumping him up to come and take the 5th round. From the little bit I saw, that Glover was a major factor there. It's just like with Bilal Muhammad. When he went out and took out his guy, it was Habib. Habib did the number on him, encouraged him to go. And sometimes that's what it takes. It takes for an individual that you have that you respect and that he has your ear, and basically boom, you let him have it. I myself have done it quite a few times with some fighters where I'm able to do something that other people have been able to do, and opposite. I've been with fighters where I couldn't say nothing, but somebody else could. It's just a matter of
that person of respect and that big brother
yeah.
dynamic that once he says, "Hey, you can do it," and gives that little word of encouragement, you just believe it and you just go and do it. You execute to a T.
Yeah, no, it was really good, really good.
In the 5th round, Izzy threw a kick and Pereira checked it, and it looked like it damaged Izzy a little bit. What do you think about that?
I think it did a little bit. I'm thinking he's still probably hurting from it,
Yeah.
because in kickboxing they do that all the time, and that doesn't mean they walk out normal. I mean, they walk out limping a little bit, and the next day they're sore, etc., etc. So it definitely looks like it did hurt. Yes, yeah. I liked what Alex did when he got Izzy against the corner. He used that jab. He kept using that jab and that pressure.
His jab is so strong.
Yeah, and if you watch the fight, if you rewatch the fight, he was throwing that left hook continuously. He just didn't land. He's getting close a lot, but it just didn't land. Izzy was ready for him. But one question, what do you think? Was Izzy maybe a little overconfident? Maybe because, he's had 20-something fights, and Alex, this was his 8th fight, He's 6-1, right, in MMA?
6-1, yes.
Yeah, so this is, so Izzy might have been maybe overconfident, maybe. Who knows? Or maybe Alex is just his kryptonite. I don't know.
I think that's what it is. I think Izzy came in very prepared. He knew what to do. He knew what to expect. I mean, he's been in these wars before where Pereira, this is his 6th one, and he's never fought a 5-round fight. I believe his other fights haven't even left a second. So I think Izzy was more mentally prepared going into a 5-round fight, and was already kind of trained for that. He already mentally trained for that war.
Could very well be. I just know that he wanted it more. And that 5th round, he wanted it more, and maybe Izzy kind of took the round off a little bit, and then try to, in his mind, maybe think I'm up 3-1. Maybe there's no sense of urgency. My corner didn't say nothing, because we talk about Alex's corner, but we didn't talk about Izzy's corner. What did they tell him?
I didn't really hear much from him, believe it or not.
That's what I'm saying. What did they tell him? Like, hey, we're up 3-1, or we're not up 3-1. You need to go out there and punch it, because if you get one person riled up and they're so goddamn good, which both of them are, and the other one is not as riled up, then the advantage is going to go to the guy that got riled up and is trying more. And that's what you saw the 4th round, and it looked like Alex was getting tired. He looked like he was going down. And also in the 5th round, it looked like the opposite. It looked like Alex was the one, and it looked like Izzy was the one getting tired. But I think it was more mental than anything. That's why I'm thinking, was he overconfident? That's a possibility. I mean, I don't know, but I'll tell you this: if they do have a rematch, it's going to be an interesting fight again. And I didn't even want to bet on this when people asked me.
Same here. I did.
Who I thought was going to win between Carla and Wei Li. I said Wei Li. They said who was going to win between Chandler and Dustin. I picked Dustin. And they asked me about this one. I said, I don't know.
Yeah, and I had buddies calling me too, and I was like, nope.
If they fight again, I'm gonna be the same thing. Nope. I can't be committed to any of it, because all I can say is, Izzy's 0-3 against him in competition, but that doesn't mean he's going to be 0-4 if they fight again. He could be 1-3. I don't know. I just know that I wouldn't want to bet on that fight, but as a fan, I definitely would watch it.
Definitely. Yeah. Does it make sense for Izzy to get to the immediate rematch on this one?
Yes, for me it does.
I 100% agree.
For me it does. He's one of the greatest middleweights of all time, one of the greatest fighters of all time. He's proven that by what his resume says. And he's cleared out the division until this guy comes up. Before that, he cleared it out, then goes up to light heavyweight, where he loses, but then he comes back and clears out the division again. So no, he definitely 100% deserves it just on his past accomplishments. And this was no wipeout. He was
No,
actually ahead.
it was very competitive. Very competitive fight.
It's the same thing with Usman. Kamaru, same thing with him. Does he deserve a rematch? Absolutely,
100%.
absolutely. Same kind of scenario. Not the same, but the same in the sense they're both the greatest at what they're doing. And they're destroying their competition. So they, if anybody deserves a rematch, those guys do.
100%.
Yeah.
The other thing is they announced Islam Makhachev versus Volkanovski.
Yes.
That's now officially announced.
Yes. Yeah. It's officially announced in Perth, Australia. I think February 11th, something like that, or 12th.
One of those 2 days. I'm not off the top of my head. I'm not sure.
February 11th or 12th. Yeah. So we're going to be going to Perth, Australia, which I dread going. That's like flight total time from getting on the plane. Every time I've done is 37 hours last time.
Jeez.
You got to remember when you go to Australia, you go from like, say, California to New York. So we're going to go from here to Australia, and that's going to be a 17-hour or something like that trip. Then we get there, and then we get a layover, right? And then we go from that the first leg to Perth, and that's like a 6-hour flight.
Jeez.
So and I forgot. Oh, we have to go to LA. We go into LA, from here to LA to Brisbane, and Brisbane to Perth, and that was another. It was crazy, man. It was like unbelievable.
Jeez. So my question is, does Dustin Poirier now deserve the winner? Is he next for the title shot at 155?
Well, okay. What happened with Justin Gaethje's last fight? Did Justin Gaethje?
I'm not sure. I don't remember. I really don't remember.
I thought the Justin would lose. I thought he won.
Let me check.
I thought he beat Chandler, didn't he?
He did. That was his last fight, right?
Yeah, I thought they both beat Chandler.
Yeah.
And then Chandler came and beat Tony, and then they gave him another. I think they both beat Chandler.
They both beat Chandler.
Yeah. So who deserves it?
Hold on. No. His last fight was Charles Oliveira.
He just that. Why did we forget that?
I have no clue.
No, so Dustin does not deserve it over Beneil, though. Beneil deserves it over anybody.
See, there you go. I just totally forgot about Beneil.
No, he doesn't deserve it. They can't take him away from that. You know why we said what we said? Because Beneil doesn't make enough noise. He's not saying, "Hey, mothers, effers, give me the damn title. I've been 10-0 or 9-0. What is he? 10-0 now? 9-0?
Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah, and he hasn't lost. He threw a great fight the last one, and he's just a quiet gentleman. He just stays quiet. And I think he should make some noise. And say, "Hey, no, look what Michael Chandler did." Okay, when Islam got the shot, he was like, "Oh, he doesn't deserve the shot." Da 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 da. He hasn't proven himself. Da 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 da. And yet, Michael comes into the UFC, takes one fight, then he gets a title shot. One fight.
I didn't like that. I don't like that they did that. But
no, the thing is, that's marketing. That's correct marketing. It may not be what he actually thought, but it's what he said. And a lot of times people think because they say something, they really mean it. No, a lot of times the fighters say something just to create hype. They don't really mean it. They don't. They're just doing it just to create some buzz. And Chandler, honestly speaking, he's one of the better ones out there that creates in a good, positive way, not necessarily a negative way where people don't like him too much. I think more people like him than not. I like the guy, and maybe they don't like everything he says, but bottom line is he's a very likable person. He knows how to promote a fight.
Yeah. So Dariush is 22-4, and he hasn't lost
10 fights, right?
Yeah, he hasn't lost in a while.
Yeah, he deserves it. Nobody deserves it over him. Look,
Alex, Islam Dariush, You have
Yeah.
Dustin standby. Would you do Chandler versus Gaethje?
Well, from a promotional point of view, Chandler versus Gagey, I mean, it's entertaining. But what value is it?
None, since they already fought, but
Yeah, yeah. What value is it? I mean, you need new blood, right?
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, hey, look, we can try to play matchmakers all we want, but the controllers make the move the way they want to see it.
It's
You know,
just
that's
crazy that it's so stacked. I mean, you can
yeah,
go so many different ways and it'd be excellent fights.
yeah. That's why whenever I know something, let's say I hear something from one of my guys that, oh, I'm fighting, I signed. And I don't say nothing. But people ask me, "Hey, so is so and so fighting there?" I go, and I know we signed, but the thing is, right? The UFC didn't announce it, or Bellator didn't announce it. So until it gets announced by that organization, it's not a legit fight.
Yeah.
So I don't say that anymore. I just like, hey man, you think I have the inside scoop? No. You know who has the inside scoop? The promotion. They know when the fight's happening because they know all the intangibles. They like just because I signed the contract doesn't mean the other side signed the contract. That doesn't mean there's no issues. It could be that the contract wasn't signed by the other people, or there was conditions, or the promotion might have changed something or another. I mean, how many times has that happened before? Habib
So
signed
many different variables.
the contract to fight Connor the first time out, and the UFC pulled the rug on him to put Eddie Alvarez on it because more eyeballs to the screen at that particular time. So that's what they did. So they use that kind of tactic. So that happens all the time, you know. And am I making this stuff up? I probably don't know the correct way it happened. I do know that Habib did sign a contract. That I do know. But
Yeah.
what happened in between that, I don't know.
Yep. From there, it's out of your hands.
Yep. Yep. So now I'm leaving for Chicago this Wednesday, and I got to get prepared for cold weather. I
I
already
was I
40
was there
degrees.
last week and it wasn't too bad, but they said the day I left, the following day it was going to be freezing. So make sure
Yeah,
you take your coats and your sweaters.
yeah, I know. That'll be good though, because you know it's going to be a good day for AKA. You know, we have the finisher Usman. You know, he's going to be fighting for the title, and I'm very confident in him. I believe he's going to win the title. I believe he's a major superstar on the rise, and I think the more people see him, the more people say, "Damn, this guy is a superstar."
Yeah.
You know, he's got charisma, he's got looks, he's got fighting style, he's wrestler good, he's jiu-jitsu good, you know, he's sambo good. He's got the whole package, you know, and you know he's young too. He's only 23, so 23, 24, something like that. But he's young, you know, and wait for him 3, 4 years from now, see what he's going to be like. More experience, you know, he's going to be tough to deal with for anybody, you know, and all the newcomers that are coming. So that I predict is going to be the champ, you know, and it'll be a good night for me again with him. I'm very
Definitely.
confident.
Definitely another champ at the AK, huh?
Yeah, another champ. The only thing is, Patricky is one of the hardest punchers in the Bellator division, you know,
He has that
and
crazy overhand right.
yeah, you can't. And he's got good speed too, and he's explosive. You know, he's a very hard hitting guy. He can knock you out with either hand. He's very explosive, very strong. Technically, he's okay. He's not bad. You know, he's just he poses a big strength with us on the knockout. He's got the knockout ability. You know, but we do too. So we have it all. We have the ground. We have the wrestling. He doesn't have the wrestling like we do. He
No.
has good jiu-jitsu, real good jiu-jitsu. So he can compete. But the arsenal of kicking, he can't compete. You know, Usman's got a variety of kicks, and they're coming from different angles, and you know, so you know, question mark kick from this kick. I mean, he's very well rounded. Usman is very well rounded. So, of course, you know, I'm his coach, so obviously I'm going to talk favorable for him because I have to be positive. Otherwise, why the hell are we fighting such a dangerous guy who happens to be the champ?
Yes.
You know, if I'm not confident in my guy winning, then why am I taking that fight? You know, with him, why am I telling him don't fight this guy? You know, but I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think he'll do good. It shouldn't be a problem. It'll be a good fight.
It'll be a good fight, and I think it's a problem. Like you say, you're not saying no problem. It's like there's no problem. You're just saying that you feel confident that he's going to win too. But
Yes.
you know, we've seen it before. You know, where overconfidence kills. I don't think I'm overconfident because I think I respect Patricky, you know, quite a bit. You know, he's very dangerous. So I'm not underestimating him at all. You know, we just have to avoid that power, and I believe we can.
Yeah, sounds good. And once
Yeah.
again, fights this Friday, November 18th in Chicago.
Chicago, Illinois, the Windy City.
The Windy City.
Windy City. That's good.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good to go.
Yes, coach. Thank you once again for your
Yeah.
time. And of course, like always, we are looking for sponsors. So if you want to sponsor, leave us a comment down below.
Hey, you didn't screw it up this time.
Not this time. See, I swindled you last time into doing it.
You went simple. Don't make it too complicated.
Simple, straight to the point.
Hey, guys, we need sponsors. We're broke.
Send us
Please
your money. Send us your money.
send us the money. Like Usman says, send me more mail. Send us
Mail.
sponsors money, please, please.
Yes, I
We're
will,
out.
coach.